In this video, we'll be hunting a box of nickels. We'll be looking for anything older than 1960, including Civil War nickels, Buffalo nickels, or anything older. We'll also be looking for any foreigns, proofs, errors, or varieties, or any other cool things we can find. This is my first nickel box in a few weeks. My bank has been pretty short on quarters and nickels, so it's been tough for me to get boxes, but I finally did get a nickel box, so I'm excited to hunt it. And I have checked for enders, and we do have one ender in this box right here. It's a 1947 obverse facing, so hopefully that's a good sign. So let's start the hunt, and I'll bring you in when we have our first find. Roll 5, and we have the first find of the hunt, and it is from the 40s, 1946, out of Philly, with some gunk on it. Roll 12, and I already pulled out the first 50s nickel of the hunt, 1958, out of Denver, but I bring you in because I just uncovered a nickel from 1942, which could be silver, could not be silver, and based on the look, it doesn't look like it's going to be silver, and it's not silver, and it's from Philly. It's a pretty common one, but still pretty cool to get a nickel from 1942. Roll 14, and we have a pair of finds, and they're a pair of 1959s, and they're both minted in Denver. Roll 15, and we have another nickel from 1946, and just like the other one, it's from Philly. Roll 20 had a couple more finds. There was one more from the 40s, another 1946, but this one's from Denver, as well as 1954 from Denver as well. Just opened roll 22, and we're going to have the first foreign of the hunt, a few coins away from being an ender. See a Canadian nickel right there, and it's going to be a newer design one. Oh, I'm surprised. That has a P on the bottom. That means it's plated and magnetic. I barely ever get magnetic coins in my rolls, especially Canadian ones. Usually just get rejected by coin machines because they're magnetic, and I almost never see them. Pretty cool that we found one, and it is a 2006P. May need that one for my album. I don't have very many modern ones since they're magnetic. That's a pretty cool find. Next roll, and we're going to have another foreign, but this one's not from Canada. I missed it by the edge, but we are going to have a coin from Bermuda. I believe I've found a Bermuda before. I can't remember which design it is. And it's the 5 cents with the fish on the back, and this one's a 1986. I think I've only found just a few of these before. That's another one to add to the collection. That's a really cool find. Roll 26, and we have a couple more finds to show. First is a 1941 out of Philly, and a pretty nice 1957 Denver. Roll 35 was that one ender from the 40s, and there was one other find in the roll. 40s ender was that 1947, and it's from Philly, and also we have a 1954 minted in Denver. Next roll actually had 3 finds in the same roll, one from the 40s and 2 from the 50s. 40s is another 1946 from Denver, 50s are 1957 Denver, and 1959 that's also from Denver. Roll 43, and we have a few more nickels from the 50s, and they are an okay shape. 1953 from Denver, 1956 also from Denver, and 1957 from Philly. Roll 45 had a couple more finds from the 50s, and they were 1957 Denver and 1958 Denver. That was all for box number 1. We did have one more find in the last roll, just a 1952 out of Philly. And overall, it was an okay box, no major finds, but we did get a handful from the 40s and a handful from the 50s, as well as a couple of cool foreigns, a 1986 from Bermuda and a 2006P plated magnetic Canadian. Again, I barely ever see the magnetic Canadian, so that's pretty cool. But again, no major finds, no buffaloes, no silver, anything like that. So I am going to add a second box onto this video. So I'll be back when I have a second nickel box to hunt. Alright, I'm back. It has been a couple of weeks, but I was able to pick up another box of nickels. And I have checked for enders, and I don't see any obvious silver buffalo enders, but it does look like a good amount of older Jefferson designs, so hopefully that's a good sign for the box. Hoping to get buffalo or silver since we haven't gotten any of those this hunt. Maybe a V nickel if we're super lucky. We'll have to open the box to see. So let's start hunting box number 2, and I'll bring you in on the first find. First roll had the first find for box 2, and it is a nickel from the 40s, 1946 from Philly. I just opened roll 6, and I'm super excited. first I saw this Canadian near the back of the roll, but what I'm really excited about, I see the edge of a buffalo nickel right there. It's been probably about 3 or 4 months since I found a buffalo. They've been really slow in my area. Super excited to get one in this hunt. Let's pull out the Canadian first. It's the third fawn of the hunt, and it's a 1982. Now, let's pull out the buffalo. I don't see it has a mint mark, so it's going to be a Philadelphia. Has some wear on it, and it is. I don't know if we're going to get a date. I believe that might be a 1917. Let me take a quick look off camera, and I'll be back to confirm. Just took a closer look, and that definitely is a 1917 Buffalo nickel. Thankfully, we didn't have to nicodate it. You can see just enough of the date to make sure it's a 1917. Decent shape for being a teens, didn't have to nicodate it, but that is my first Buffalo nickel I found in many months. Super excited to find that, and a Canadian in the roll as well. We still have 44 rolls left in the box. Maybe we can find some more. Roll 8, and we have a pair of nickels from 1954. One is from Denver, and the other one is a San Francisco. Roll 12, and we have another find from the 40s and from the 50s. 40s is a 1947 from Denver, and the 50s is a 1951 that's also from Denver. Just opened roll 14, and we're going to have another Canadian nickel, which is the second one of this box. Fourth fawn of the hunt, third from Canada. Here it is right here, and it is a 1986. Roll 18, and we have a few nickels from the later 50s, and they are 1958 from Denver, and a pair of 1959s that are both also Denvers. Roll 21, and we have a couple more 50s nickels, and they are 1952 from Philly and 1955 from Denver. Next roll, and just like the last roll, we have a pair of 50s nickels. This time we have 1953 from Denver and 1954 out of Philly. Roll 25, halfway point of box 2, and we have another pair of nickels from the 50s. These ones are both the same though, two 1957s from Denver. Roll 27, and I just uncovered the oldest Jefferson nickel of the hunt, because it is a first-year Jefferson, a 1938. Deer Nest would be a key date, but I saw the reverse of this one first, and it is just a 1938 out of Philly, but I don't see 1938 nickels too often. That is definitely an awesome find. Roll 30, we have another find from the 40s. This time we do have a 1942, but of course this one is not silver, and it's out of Philly. Roll 32, and we have another one from the 40s. This one is very damaged, but it is a 1940 from Philly. Roll 35, and we have another pair of nickels from the 50s. These ones are 1954 Denver and 1959, it's also Denver. Roll 36, and we have another 40s find. This time it is a 1949 from Philly. Roll 45, and we have a couple more older Jeffersons. First, we have 1946 out of Philly and 1952. That's also from Philly. Second nickel box has been hunted, so let's go over the finds. We had a lot of estimates for the hunt. We ended up with 27. 4 fawns, 3 of them were Canadian, 1982, 1986, and an unexpected 2006 P magnetic one, which I'm pretty sure will fill a spot in my album, which is awesome. And 1 fawn not from Canada. We have 5 cents with a fish on it from 1986, and it is from Bermuda, so that's definitely a cool find. Love finding fawns that aren't Canadian. 1 miscellaneous find as well, just a 1985 with some random sticker on it. Just pull it aside because it's kind of interesting. Older Jeffersons, we definitely had a good amount for the hunt. A lot from the 40s and a lot from the 50s. We had a pretty decent, nice 1957 Denver. And we had 1 from the 30s as well. A 1938 out of Philly. Not a key date, but still, don't find first-year Jeffersons too often. That's definitely an awesome find. And lastly, of course, the best find of the hunt. We didn't have silver, but we did get a Buffalo nickel in the second box. It's been months since I found one. Definitely happy to see one. And I didn't have to nicodate it. I can barely see that it is a 1917 out of Philly. Pretty worn, but at least we didn't have to nicodate it, especially for it being a teens. Definitely a great find, seeing a teens buffalo that doesn't need to be nicodated, especially after months not seeing a buffalo. So overall, with the Buffalo and all the older Jeffersons and the cool foreigns, this was definitely a fun 2-box nickel hunt.